Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm finally here. Sorry, it's a little bit late than I said it would be. I got caught up on the phone, as you do. So this afternoon, I said I'm going to talk about supplements. So we'll try and have a quick journey through some of the main supplements that you may be taking, or you might be interested in taking, or you're not sure what to pick. And I'll also talk about just a few of the things that I've been taking for a while and how I find them. So we'll start with probiotics because this is one that comes up a lot. Lots and lots of different probiotic supplements out there. It's a little bit dazzling, to be honest, because you can even go in the supermarket now and find them. And they're all claiming to be the best, the strongest, the most effective. So really, where do you start with them? One of the main things to look for in a probiotic supplement is that the bacteria are going to survive and get through to your gut where they need to get to. And all the main kind of well-researched brands, they will do that. So they've put the research in, they can show that their bacteria will survive through the stomach acid that will get down into your gut, and the bacteria will start to grow and do what they're meant to do, which is what you want from a probiotic supplement. Now, I often tell people not to worry so much about the strength. Yes, it is a numbers game, but more is not necessarily better. And sometimes when you've got a digestive problem, if you go in there straight away with quite a high dose probiotic supplement, it can be a little bit too much. You might get some side effects like bloating, wind, feeling a bit sick, changes in bowel movements, which is not helpful when you've already got digestive problems. So sometimes starting off on a lower dose one, maybe even just a couple of billion bacteria per capsule, and then increasing it gradually, it gives your digestive system chance to adjust to this new balance. And some of the less friendly bacteria will be crowded out slowly, rather than it being kind of an all-out battle between lots of good bacteria and bad bacteria. So some of the brands that I've used for myself or with clients include BioCult, Udo's Choice, BioCare. Let's have a think. OptiBac, that's quite a well-known brand and easy to get hold of. They've all done a lot of research into their products, and they wouldn't be putting it out on the market if they weren't sure of its effectiveness. So I like to use brands that I can trust and that I can check out their research behind. So some of the names of the bacteria can be a bit dazzling as well. So we've got these lovely long names like Lactobacillus acidophilus and Bifidobacterium, Lactobacillus reuteri, lots of different types. So basically your Lactobacillus acidophilus, that's one of the bacteria that helps to keep the pH balance in the gut right. And that tends to live in the upper digestive tract, but also for women, it lives in our vaginal tract as well. So that's quite a good one to be using if you're getting thrush, for example, recurrent cystitis, things like that. The bifidobacteria, that tends to live lower down in the colon. So you've got, lots and lots of different types down there. And then some of the other species, they don't really reside in one place. So they're called transient strains, and they tend to kind of grow and populate as they're moving through the gut. Even dead bacteria can be helpful. So some of the bacteria aren't going to survive the journey through your digestive tract. That's just how it is. But even once they're dead, they can still provide metabolic breakdown products, and they can still act to kind of bind to toxins and sweep them out from your digestive tract as well. So it's not all a loss, even if they don't survive all the way through. With a good probiotic supplement, it's good to have a range of different strains because they do like to work as a team. So having a multi-strain product is good. So at the minute, I've got this one in my kitchen. We're using the BioCult at home. And because my teenage son has just gone back to school, so we tend to use this. He takes it 2 or 3 times a week, particularly during winter when there's lots of bugs around. He had the awful norovirus stomach bug a few years ago. And that kind of convinced him of the worth of some probiotics. So we use that, and I take it every now and again when I remember. No, I tend to use it a couple of times a week as well, just to keep topped up. If you've had a course of antibiotics, then definitely use a probiotic supplement, because the antibiotics are great at killing off the bad guys, but they're also going to wipe out the good ones as well. So I definitely suggest taking a good probiotic supplement for 2, 3, even 4 weeks afterwards, just to help to rebalance and what's going on in your gut, because once the gut bacteria are out of balance, there's a lot of things that can go wrong there. So as well as taking probiotics, it's also important for us to feed them and nourish them, just in the same way we wouldn't just buy a house plant and expect it to survive without feeding it. So we can look after our good bacteria by using fermented foods, things like sauerkraut, kefir, for example, natural yogurt. These kind of things feed the good bacteria, and certain vegetables. So we've got things like bananas, that's a good prebiotic, onions, garlic, they're also good. Different fibre, so for example, ground flax seeds, that's another type of good fibre that these bacteria feed on, and it helps them to grow and form their different colonies. So that's some good tips there about your probiotics. So basically, good reputable brand, multi-strain, so lots of different types of the bacteria in there, and just consider the strength, that you might not necessarily need a mega strong one right now, and maybe to go for a slightly lower strength one to start with. Right, okie so that's our probiotics. Vitamins and minerals, this is something that a lot of us take, so you might be taking the odd one or two, like maybe a little bit of vitamin D, or you might be doing a multivitamin and mineral formula, which can be helpful as a bit of kind of backup to your diet as well. So with vitamins, they tend to be kind of fairly standard really. You can get, obviously you get better quality ones than others, but for example, vitamin C as ascorbic acid is vitamin C as ascorbic acid no matter which brand that you buy. So you don't necessarily have to go for a super expensive one there. You can get a different form of vitamin C, which is called ester C. And that's a buffered form, so it's non-acidic, and it's very good if you've got a sensitive stomach. It's said to be absorbed better, stays in your cells for longer, so you can actually take a little bit less. So there is a difference there between that and the regular ascorbic acid vitamin C. B vitamins, again, different types available, really good for supporting our energy levels, our nervous system, hormone balance and things. And in the group just now, I know Marie had asked a question about vitamins and minerals for supporting people with the MTHFR and the COMT genetic polymorphisms. So this is something that's quite specific. So if you're into the nutrigenomic side of things, so looking at how nutrients affect our genes and vice versa, because your genetics can tell you a lot about your nutrient needs and how your body's working. So it may be that you would want to look at using the methylated forms of some of the B vitamins like the B12 and the folic acid, but not necessarily. So with the genetic polymorphisms, we must look at them in a much wider context, looking at all the genetics rather than just isolating, for example, the MTHFR or the COMT SNPs on their own, because just using a certain type of vitamin or mineral for that SNP can cause problems further around in the genetic processes. So with B vitamins, have I got any here at the minute? No, I haven't got any here at the minute. Again, good brands, lots of good ones available in the health food stores, so Terra Nova, Viridian, Thorgar, all pretty good. And it may, you know, the strength that you use is going to depend on your needs. That's not really something I can kind of say as a broad general statement, you must take this much, because everybody's going to have a slightly different need. Some people may need the activated forms of the B vitamins because they can work slightly better for others. Certainly vegans might have to take a B12 supplement because that's something that's primarily in animal foods, so it's very difficult to get enough on a vegan diet. So maybe using a B complex that includes some B12 can be helpful for that. This is a good time of year to be thinking about your vitamin D levels because, as nature would have it, we've all kind of soaked up the sun over summer and got fantastic levels of vitamin D in our bodies. And I know we've had a magnificent summer this year, and hopefully people have, but I'm still getting clients doing vitamin D tests and still showing a need for supplementation. So unless you basked in the sun every day, you know, without any sun cream on, then you may still need to supplement your vitamin D levels over winter. Between about now and March, we struggle to make enough vitamin D in our bodies because the sun isn't high enough over winter to help us form vitamin D in our bodies. So it's a good idea to take a supplement. Again, there's lots of different ones out there. I'm quite a fan of the little sprays, actually. We've got this, the Better You Deluxe spray at the minute in our house, so we're all using that one. I take quite a bit because I'm struggling to get my levels up. It's lovely, it's minty flavoured, so it's dead easy to take. So that's a really handy one. Great if you're not good at swallowing great big capsules and pills and things like that, just using the oral spray can be really helpful. So you can get your vitamin D levels checked at your GP. If they don't want to do it, or you don't want to go to your GP, see your local nutritional therapist. Or you can go to vitamindtest.org and you can order your own kit from there. And that's the Sandwell and West Birmingham NHS Trust. They offer a service to the public where you can check on your own vitamin D levels. There's a really simple pinprick test on the end of your finger. You just squeeze out 4 drops of blood, send it off, and they email your results within about 5 working days, if not sooner than that. And it will tell you what your level is. So optimal levels are around about 75 to 100. And so if you're nowhere near that, you might want to consider taking a supplement over the winter months. Okie dokie. So minerals is quite a big topic because you can get some really cheap mineral supplements. You absolutely can in the supermarket. You can get some calcium for like £2 or something in Tesco's. But with minerals, it really does depend on the form of the mineral as to how well your body's going to be able to absorb it and use it. Because basically the cheap forms, not very well absorbed, waste of money. You know, you might as well, you've got to pay out and get the good stuff really with minerals, because the cheap forms, you're just not going to get anything from it. So there's no point taking it. So a good example of this is calcium. So your cheapy form that you find in all the cheap supplements, and which unfortunately you get on prescription as well, is calcium carbonate, which is essentially chalk. So you might as well go to the East Coast and get a nice lump of chalk from Flamborough Head. That's, you know, that is the equivalent of what you're taking when you take calcium carbonate. So your body doesn't recognize it very well, neutralizes your stomach acid, and you don't absorb it. So looking for forms such as calcium citrate is better. Same with magnesium. You can get magnesium citrate and magnesium glycinate, which I think, yep, that's the one I'm trying out at the minute. So I've used citrate before, but I'm on with some magnesium glycinate at the minute. Just started that. That comes in some handy capsules, which are easy to swallow. With magnesium, the cheapy form is magnesium oxide, which does have laxative properties. If you want laxative properties, great, use it, but most people don't. So using something like a magnesium citrate or a magnesium glycinate is going to be gentle on your body, and you're going to get a lot more from the supplement. You will absorb more of it and you will use it better. Same with iron, and this is really common for us ladies. You know, if you go to the doctors and you're low in iron, you get your iron prescription, it tends to be something like ferrous sulfate, which your gut tends not to like, so it can make you constipated or it can give you diarrhea. Not very helpful, not going to be able to absorb much of that iron supplement. So using more of a food state form, something like the Floridix liquid, which is available in health food stores. I've got a different, I've got the Easy Iron Complex at the minute, non-constipating, excellent stuff. And it is non-constipating as well, it's very good. Let's see what form, this is iron bisglycinate, not associated with either constipation or digestive discomfort. Excellent. So just using one of these capsules a day gives me, I think it's 20 milligrams of iron, which is great. And I'll be absorbing around about 80% of that from the bisglycinate form, which is far, far better than absorbing kind of less than 10% of something like ferrous sulfate. So there are ways to maximize your absorption from these supplements by choosing the good form. So you do get what you pay for with the minerals. That's the main thing. So having a good look on the label, asking in your local health food store, the trained advisors there will be able to help you with that. Okay, so that was my quick rundown of the vitamins and minerals and the probiotics. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments below, or if you're watching the replay, that's great. Or feel free to email me, sallyduffin@nutritioninyork.co.uk, and I'll be back again soon with another live. Okay, bye for now.